Well, Liz, if you wanted to introduce yourself, you can just get started
Okay,
and then we'll figure it out.
yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Liz Soto. I'm so happy to be here with you. I sat through the class last year and I learned a lot of stuff from Carla and all the classes that y'all teach. I think it's a wonderful service. And I wanted to volunteer and offer some of my knowledge about personal finances. I'm licensed to help people with personal finances, with budgeting, with investments. And I think that it's one of the things we don't learn enough about in school. And unless our parents or a close friend who we trust enough to share our numbers with can guide us, then a lot of us are lost. So we're going to give you some basics tonight, but I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. Please feel free to use the chat box or interrupt me if necessary, and we will have some time for questions and discussion at the end when we're going to be doing some hands-on activities where you're working in your workbooks and writing things down today. So it's kind of everybody's situation might be different. So feel free to ask questions and get all your questions answered tonight, hopefully. All right. Was Sandra able to get the copies or should we go ahead?
We can go ahead and get started. Sandra, are you don't see.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. All right. So what will you learn tonight? I'm going to let Carla translate after each sentence here, after each area. We're going to learn how to build a strong financial house, because while you're building your bricks and mortar house and helping others helping you build that, you also need to be getting your finances in order, because owning a home is a really big purchase and it needs to be taken seriously. So we're going to show you how to have strong financial foundation so that you can make sure you pay off that house and have a good life in it.
Bueno, primero lo que vamos a hablar hoy, lo que estaba diciendo ella es que obviamente ahorita están trabajando muy duro en construir su casa o la casa de otros, pero entonces lo que van a aprender hoy es cómo construir su casa financiera para que esa esté sólida antes, porque es lo más importante.
Okay, so the second bullet, what is my current financial priority? Tonight, we're going to ask some questions to find out maybe where the weaknesses are in our financial house and to figure out where we need to put our attention next. So it's a long, ongoing process to stay in control of your finances, and you can always be improving, but we'll find out kind of where you need to start today. Okay, Carmen.
Y la segunda es cuál es tu prioridad financiera actualmente, entonces dónde es donde quieren empezar y de ahí van a crecer y poder seguir con eso.
Okay, and the third question that you'll answer is, what is net worth? What is your value and how do you calculate it? If you want to put a number to your life, it's your net worth, and we'll look at how to do that.
Y lo siguiente que van a poder ver es qué es el patrimonio neto. En español es básicamente cuál es el valor que tenemos nosotros y cómo podemos averiguar ese número.
El valor en dólares, porque también tenemos otros valores, ¿no?
Claro.
Okay, what is a budget? So a lot of people have ideas about what a budget is or how it should be, but you really don't understand it until you've done it for 3 months at least. So we're going to get you started today, and we hope that you continue your budget for a lifetime.
Lo siguiente es qué es un presupuesto, entonces vamos a hablar de lo básico de cómo hacer un presupuesto, cómo usarlo y poder usarlo en el futuro.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask somebody to mute that's making some sounds there. The next question is, what are fixed versus variable expenses? We categorize expenses into two types based on how much control we have over them. And once you know what area you can focus on, then you can make a bigger impact with your financial decisions.
Lo siguiente es qué son los gastos fijos comparado con los gastos que son variables. Entonces, ¿cuál es la diferencia de estos dos? Y cómo ver en su presupuesto cuál es la diferencia en estas dos cosas.
Okay, ¿y cuánto control tenemos sobre cada uno? The next question is, what is a sinking fund? So a sinking fund is a type of savings account that we will talk about.
Lo siguiente es que es un fondo de amortización. Entonces, hablar un poco más de eso. No sé si hay una palabra más simple que usar, pero eso es lo que encontré.
Un estilo de ahorros. Okay. And then rules about emergency funds. So emergency funds are another type of savings that are very special. And if we don't manage them properly and follow the rules, then they don't help us very much, very long, because we just use them too easily, too fast.
Y lo siguiente es que son las reglas sobre los fondos de emergencias. Entonces, hay muchas veces que los usamos muy rápidamente, que no estamos guardando lo que de veras necesitamos hacer. Entonces, ¿cuál es la forma correcta de guardar para eso?
Okay, and the last one is what we're actually going to do at the end of the class is start our own personal zero-based budget. It is a type of budgeting where you tell every dollar what it's going to do before you even earn it or spend it. So you have a plan, and having that plan will help you make better decisions with your money.
Y lo último que vamos a hacer, y vamos a hacerlo todos juntos, es que es el presupuesto que se llama de base cero. Entonces, este es un presupuesto específico que vamos a usar todos hoy, y es donde básicamente le dice a cada dólar que usted gaste o que tenga, tiene un específico trabajo.
Okay, we're going to spend some time on this page. I want you to look first at the picture on the right. So at the very bottom is the foundation of your financial house. And to have a strong financial house, you need to understand that God gives you everything you have, and you owe back to the church to thank Him for it. You have to have unity with your spouse and the conversations about money with your spouse, and so that y'all are on the same plan together. And you have to be committed to being self-reliant, to living within your means and not spending more money than you have, to not depending on family members or community social programs to support you. You want to try to carry your own weight in the community and make a commitment to self-reliance. So go ahead and explain that, Carla.
Lo
Thank you.
primero que vamos a hablar hoy, lo primero es esta imagen de una casa, porque lo primero es obviamente la base, la fundación de la casa como una casa real, es lo más importante, es igual a esta casa financiera. Entonces, lo primero es tener fe en Jesús, entonces siempre agradecer a su religión, y lo segundo es la unidad con su pareja, entonces siempre estar unidos porque es lo más importante para estar fuertes financieramente, es estar juntos. Y lo último es ser autosuficiente, entonces cómo poder no tener que contar con otros y ser más autosuficiente con sus finanzas.
So if you notice on the diagram on the left wall, you have your work, your income, your regular salary that supports all your expenses and your lifestyle. If you don't have money coming in or a good job, or you lose your job, this wall comes down and a lot of things get ruined. On the right wall, you have your budget. This is everything that goes out. So the left side is the money coming in. The right side is where your money goes out. And if you don't manage your money, if you don't look at the budget regularly, if you don't pay attention to where you're spending the money, then you lose control over that side and you get another crooked type house. So the work and the budget are very important habits to have ongoing to have a strong financial house.
Lo siguiente en la casa, si ven a los lados en las paredes, a un lado dice trabajo, entonces todo el dinero que gana de ese trabajo o si gana dinero de otras formas, eso es lo que ayuda, que es la pared de la casa. Y también al otro lado es el presupuesto. Entonces, no nomás tener ese dinero que es la pared de la casa, pero también el presupuesto para tenerlo todo junto y que no se vaya a caer.
You may have to click on your pictures of everybody to move them around so you can see the diagram completely. But then we're going to work our way up. This is the order of priority that you have to focus on when building your financial house. After you have a solid foundation, you need to move upward to the next layer, paying tithes and offerings, supporting your church, being grateful for what you have. The second step is to protect your family from hardship. You have to have savings in place for emergencies. You have to have insurance products that protect you when big emergencies happen, like to replace your home from fire or replace your car from a big crash. You don't replace your life with life insurance, but you replace your income so that your family who is depending on your income can still live. So all these types of things need to be in place so that you can save for future needs. Oh, let me go ahead and finish. Carla, can you want me to stop there?
No, you can keep going.
Okay, then you need to, once you have your security protection in place, then you want to focus on paying off any bills and not having debt. Your home mortgage is going to be a big debt that will carry on for 15 years, but you can pay it off earlier if you have a plan. And then once you've paid off your debt, the money you're making can all go towards fun things or education, retirement, travel, spending time with grandkids. When you're older and have your debts paid off, you can play with the money you have. Okay.
Ahora, hablando de la casa, lo primero que tiene que hacer es pagar las ofrendas, entonces si a su iglesia o nomás a los que está agradecidos. Lo segundo es proteger su familia de cualquier emergencias que puedan pasar, entonces tener un fondo para emergencias, tener tener ahorros de 3 a 6 meses y el seguro por si hay una emergencia más grande. Entonces, seguro de vida o seguro de carro o de casa, todo eso. Lo tercero es eliminar las deudas, entonces trabajar con el presupuesto para poder eliminar esas deudas o hacerlas más chiquitas. Lo que sigue es ahorrar o invertir en su futuro, entonces puede ser que obviamente la casa es algo que está pagando y invirtiendo para su futuro, la educación, el retiro. Y lo último es continuar a dar y poder bendecir a otros. Entonces pueden enseñar a sus hijos cómo ser mejores con su dinero, pueden ayudar a otras personas, a otras familias y nomás seguir adelante es lo que es lo más importante de un presupuesto.
Muy bien. Okay, so if you don't get anything else out of this class tonight, I hope that you learn how this best works for you to have your financial house. And so you get all the right things in place in order, your foundation, your protection, paying down your debt, saving for the big things like your mortgage, your future, and then having fun in retirement. But I'm going to now go to the left side and just read down. These are reminders again about the financial house. So if you follow this map for a solid foundation, you will have strong finances. If you commit to staying in control of your money and not relying on others, you must spend your money carefully. and always be talking with your partner regularly about money goals. Do you want me to do the last 4, Carla?
Yeah.
Then your income on the left wall, your work is your biggest asset. People think of cars and homes as assets, but your biggest asset is your income. So you want to make sure that you are always gainfully employed. Your budget is your best tool, the wall on the right. If you're not working your budget, you probably don't have the control you think you do of your money. Living within your means is required for you to be self-reliant, and saving for your future is a must. There will be big expenses like your mortgage and your retirement, and if you don't save now and plan now, you probably won't have enough later to live the life you want.
No, ella nomás quería decir que lo más importante es que si no se graba nada de más, que lo más importante es cómo construir su casa financiera. Entonces, seguir este mapa para tener una base sólida de sus finanzas, comprometerse a mantener el control de su dinero y no depender de otros, gaste el dinero cuidadosamente, hable con su pareja con regularidad sobre sus objetivos económicos. Sus ingresos son su mayor activo, su presupuesto es su mejor herramienta. Entonces, si requiere vivir dentro de sus posibilidades, obviamente no gastar mucho y ahorrar para su futuro.
Okay. I don't know how to move my pictures of everybody out of the way, but do I click on this little blue? How do I get how do I?
So right at the very top, you'll see a little minimizing. It has like different sizes. If you click at the, usually
everybody just disappeared. Okay, well, I'll just keep going. I don't know how to get them back. Okay, here are some common mistakes, and this is where I want you guys to be thinking. What have been your experiences or friends, and what have they maybe done wrong, or what did they learn from their mistakes? But I'm going to just give you an overview to the right. Look at the diagram on the right. The common approach that most people do is this. So in this diagram, the bottle, this clear glass bottle, is your income. We each have a different size bottle, but we all have a life that we need to fit into that income. So then picture 2 is all the sand, our wants and needs, our daily expenses going in the sand. And then the third picture, this big rock, is our big expenses, like our house mortgage that we're about to take on. And then on 4, you also see the gray rocks at the bottom, other big expenses like cars and college and things that will cost. If we pay for all our wants and needs, spend all our income as we get it every week or every paycheck, then when the big responsibilities come along, we will not be able to afford them. They will not fit in our lifestyle, in our income, in our budget. So the way that you have to plan your finances is to come down to the bottom diagram of the diagram. It says self-reliant approach. So you have your income, the empty bottle. You have to start saving and planning for the big purchases early, like for your mortgage now. I hope you're saving some money for that. And then little by little, that will fit in there in addition to the other expenses. And finally, your wants and needs will also fit in with whatever income you have left. So we talked about on the left side, your house will be crooked if you don't use your budget regularly. Your house will be upside down if you're spending on all your wants and dreams and goals before you're spending on your needs. Number 3, if the spouses are not sharing in the responsibility or talking regularly to make sure they're on the same plan, that will not help your financial house. If you're not saving, then you often will find yourself paying late fees or being in debt. If you don't have insurance, then when there's an emergency that comes along, sorry, Carl, I should have let you talk before I made it to this side. Then you will end up spending your savings before you needed to. Like if you're saving for your child's college and then your car breaks down and you didn't have an emergency account, you're going to end up spending your children's college fund to repair the car. and you'll never really get ahead. So we'll teach you different kinds of savings and how to keep them apart. Let me stop there. Sorry. Go ahead, Carla.
Bueno, lo primero es cuáles son unos errores comunes. Entonces, ese diagrama está enseñando que sus ingresos son esa jarra. Entonces, si siempre está gastando su dinero en cosas chiquitas, como lo de día al día, no van a poder llenar la roca o meter la roca, que es los gastos más grandes. Entonces, lo que es más mejor es que piensen en sus gastos grandes primero, en sus como de su casa, como guardar su dinero, cosas así. Piense en eso primero y luego en sus gastos de día a día. Entonces, esto lo que les ayuda es ser más responsables con su dinero. Y también, siguiendo con algunos errores comunes, es una casa torcida, es una casa sin presupuesto, entonces siempre tener el presupuesto. Lo siguiente es si no comparten la responsabilidad con su pareja. Sin ahorros siempre pueden estar endeudados porque no tienen, si algo pasa, una emergencia pasa, no tienen esos ahorros para usar ese dinero, entonces tienen que prestar dinero. ¿Cuál es también lo que sigue? Sin no tener el seguro, eso también les puede perjudicar porque si no tienen un seguro y algo pasa, una emergencia pasa, tienen que usar sus ahorros. Entonces, esos son unos errores comunes que las personas hacen.
Okay. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So then not planning for the long term. Again, there are different types of savings. So the big expenses like retirement and mortgage, you have to start saving for those way before you will need them. Okay, then underestimating future needs. People not realizing how much money they're going to need in retirement. So they don't really know how to calculate how much they need. So they just hope Social Security will be enough, but it won't be enough. So we help you figure out how much you should be saving. And not tonight, but I can help you with those things individually. And then thinking about your habits, your daily habits, your cultural expectations, carrying cash in your wallet and maybe spending it on a lottery ticket or for your kids, get an ice cream each time you go to the gas station. You know, your money goes in little ways like that, that you have to kind of try to wrangle that in and get control over it. Carla, go ahead and do those and then we'll ask for other stories.
Siguiendo con algunos errores comunes es no planear a largo plazo, entonces no pensar en su futuro como retiros, cosas así, y puede ser que no puedan vivir nomás en el seguro social. Subestimar las necesidades futuras y igual con eso nomás pensar más a largo plazo con sus ahorros. Y también a veces tenemos que ver nuestros hábitos y cuáles son las tendencias que tenemos. Entonces siempre tratar de tener efectivo, comprar cerveza, lotería, cuáles son las cosas que estamos gastando habitualmente que puede ser que tengamos que ver un poco más de eso. Entonces, ahora lo que queremos saber es cuáles son otros errores que puede ser que usted ha hecho, que conocen a personas que han hecho. Quiere abrir esto para que todos puedan hablar si quieren.
Discussion. But Carla, first, can you help me figure out how to see everybody again? Do you know what? I don't want to press too many buttons.
Did you, if you move, you're usually on the right side.
Oh, here.
If you click, it has like two little rectangles that will show everyone.
This one? Oh, yeah. Okay, and how do I move it to the right side?
If you just click at the top, you can move it around.
Oh, I have to drag it?
Mhm.
No, that didn't work. Okay, so who wants to tell a story of a mistake they know of in finances?
Anyone?
I can't see everybody. You can put your thumbs up or just talk. Anything we didn't cover? Anybody out there?
You can unmute yourself. Doesn't have to be personal experience. Maybe it's someone you know, but obviously don't say names. No,
All right.
just kidding.
Well, we'll keep going then. Okay. So I know this seems long, guys. We really want you to be thinking about your situation and how this might apply to you. Again, I'm just going to reiterate, similar to the bottle, the self-reliant approach versus the common approach. Okay, so the common approach, most people, when they get their paycheck, they spend it on their wants and needs, going to the restaurant or buying shoes or clothes. Then they think about maybe helping others or the church, and finally if they have any money left, they might put it in savings, or they might say, well, let me hang on to it till next month, I might need it next month, and it never really gets set aside. So the self-reliant approach would be to, each time you get paid, you pay your church tithes and then you pay your savings. Think of this as your future self. You're paying yourself for later when you're retired or when you have a house or when you have big bills. And then what's left, that's what you live on today, with what's left after you've saved for the future. Okay, Carla. You're muted.
Sorry. Nomás queremos decir otra vez que lo que importante es no hacer lo que es común, que reciben dinero, pagamos por cuáles son nuestras necesidades y deseos actuales. Y luego ya a veces si queda dinero, podemos guardar un poquito o podemos ofrecer un poco, pero es nomás al último. Lo que es más, que es mejor es recibir ese dinero y primero pagar sus ofrendas, luego tercero es pagar para su futuro y luego con lo que queda pagar con las necesidades de día a día. Entonces primero pensar en su futuro y en guardar su dinero y luego poder gastar el resto.
Vivir en lo que sobra. All right. So now we're going to write down your financial priorities. So if you have a blank sheet of paper, you should have one. I know Carla asked you to have a piece of paper. Hopefully you're taking notes. But at this point, I want you to answer to yourself these questions. The answer should be yes, if your financial house is set and solid in that area. If your personal answer is no, then I need you to write that sentence down, because that's your priority where you need to start working or focusing on. So the first one is, how far do you want me to go, Carla? You want to explain that first?
Yeah. Ahora lo siguiente que quiere hacer es que todos deben tener un papel libre, entonces agarren ese papel y vamos a preguntar estas preguntas, que cuáles son sus prioridades financieras. Entonces, las respuestas de cada esta pregunta tiene que ser sí. Entonces, si hay una pregunta que nosotros decimos y usted está pensando que no, ahorita eso no es cierto, escriban esa pregunta porque es algo que, eso significa que tiene que ser su prioridad. Entonces, vamos a empezar con la primera pregunta.
Okay, do I have a steady income? Am I getting money from a job on a regular basis? If it's yes, great. If it's no, write that down. The second one is, am I committed to self-reliance? Am I really wanting to live within my means? Am I ready to sacrifice and change the way I spend my money so that I can be proud of my own independence? Go ahead.
Lo primero es, tengo ingresos fijos. Si la respuesta es sí, entonces está bien. Si es no, escríbanla. Y lo siguiente es si está comprometido con la autosuficiencia. Entonces está comprometido a este proceso, a ser un poco más estricto con su dinero y más independiente. Está listo para eso.
Great. Okay, the third question, am I careful and planned with my spending? Do I know where all my dollars are going? And then I'll give the next one. Do I have a 1-month emergency budget? Am I already working on some type of a budget? If the answer is no, write that down.
Soy cuidadoso y planifico mis gastos. Entonces está usando un presupuesto o algo por el estilo para hacer eso. Tengo un fondo de emergencias de un mes, por lo menos. Está trabajando a tener un fondo de emergencias, sí o no.
Do I have health insurance or access to medical care? Do I have a plan if somebody gets sick? And the second one, do I have other insurances? We touched on those: life, car, home insurance. If the answer is no, write that down. That's an area you need to focus.
Tengo seguros médicos o acceso a atención médica. Tengo otros seguros como seguro de vida, de carro, de casa.
Am I free from consumer debt? Am I paying for things that I didn't have the cash when I bought that? So now I'm also paying interest because I had to borrow the money to pay it. Do I have credit card balances or car loans? So if you do, if your answer is yes, I'm free from debt, yahoo for you, congratulations. If your answer is you're not free from debt, then that's a priority. And do I have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund? So we generally encourage you start with something and eventually build up to 3 months. We'll talk more about that later.
Estoy libre de deudas de consumo, entonces como tarjetas de crédito, de un carro, si tiene deudas, ¿cuáles son esas deudas? Tengo un fondo de emergencia de 3 a 6 meses. Obviamente queremos que empiecen chiquito, de una semana, de un mes, y luego ya de ahí pueden crecerlo a 3 a 6 meses.
And then, am I adding to my retirement savings fund? So it's never too early for adults to be saving for retirement, and you want to be doing that with every paycheck. And am I working to eliminate home loans or student loans? So you can even start now eliminating your home loan that you're about to get by saving up front. Go ahead.
Estoy agregando mis fondos de ahorros para la jubilación. Nunca es muy tarde para empezar a guardar dinero para eso, entonces, para sus retiros. Entonces, ya está guardando para eso. Está trabajando para eliminar los préstamos de la hipoteca o de préstamos estudiantiles. Obviamente muchos de ustedes todavía no tienen ese préstamo hipotecario, pero ya lo van a tener pronto. Entonces, guardar avanzado puede ayudar a pagar ese dinero.
And everyone has to save $1,000 to get started, right? To be in the program. So
for the escrow.
Yeah, so that's an important thing in addition to the emergency fund.
También todos están guardando para la cuenta de escrow, que es $1,000. No sé si es lo mismo en todos los hábitats, pero con nosotros así es. Y ese es $1,000, ayuda para pagar el primer año de impuestos y de taxes en la casa.
Okay. What is your net worth? We're going to take a break here in a little while, but let's just keep moving through this. Your net worth is the dollar measurement of your value. It is your total worth after paying off all your debts. Go ahead and say that.
¿Cuál es lo próximo que vamos a hablar es cuál es su valor financiero? Entonces, es su valor después de liquidar todas sus deudas.
Okay, so if you take all your assets, which is everything of worth that you own, that would be your home. Once you have it, you would add that as an asset. Any savings that you already have at work for retirement, a 401k, or TRS. If you have any kinds of savings, that money is your assets. You add all that together and then you subtract all the money you owe, which is any car loans, any credit cards, and then your answer is your net worth, your dollar value. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth.
Entonces es lo que es todas sus cosas de valor, todos sus activos, cosas que podría vender por efectivo, como el valor de mercado de su casa, activos de su retiro, su jubilación, ahorros, fondos de emergencias, menos sus responsabilidades. Entonces las cosas en que debe dinero, como la hipoteca, préstamo para un carro, tarjetas de crédito, préstamos de estudiantes, eso es lo que es su valor. Entonces todo lo que se llama activos, pasivos, menos pasivos es su valor.
I know y'all would like this presentation better if my husband were telling it, because he's always telling jokes, but I'm the serious one. Sorry, you're stuck with me. Okay, so on your net worth, your goal is to go increasing your savings all the time and decreasing your debt, and this increases your net worth. So as you get older, you want to have a bigger net worth, and if you don't spend it all in your lifetime, you can leave it for your kids.
Su meta es aumentar sus ahorros, entonces siempre estar tratando de aumentar ese dinero y disminuir todas sus deudas. Y eso es lo que va a crecer su valor cada año. Entonces, si sigue haciendo eso, va a crecer más y más su valor. Y puede ser que en el futuro, ya que no esté, pueda pasar eso a sus hijos.
Okay, so here's a bunch of definitions for a budget. People use their budget in different ways. So we're going to read all the definitions and help you get a general idea. I'd like to know how many people here already use a budget. Can you just say I do if you do a budget? Can you unmute, or can you show a thumbs up? So Esther, good. Richard, good. Who else? I can't see everybody. Got a lot of thumbs up. I'm so glad. Great. I hope y'all will share your experiences on how your budgets are working for you. But we're going to get through all this real quick. A budget is a powerful tool for controlling your financial situation and reducing your stress. It's a paper that shows when and where you're spending your money. It's a plan for spending your money that helps you reach your goals. I hope those that have a budget find all this to be true. Okay, Carla, read those three.
Ahora vamos a hablar más de qué es un presupuesto. Es una poderosa herramienta para controlar su situación financiera y puede ayudar a reducir el estrés que viene con el dinero. Es un documento que muestra cuándo y dónde está gastando su dinero, y es un plan para gastar su dinero que le ayude a alcanzar sus metas.
It is a living, breathing document that grows and changes with you each month. So hopefully these explanations will help you be motivated to continue doing this for all your life. It is a process that requires commitment, discipline, and perseverance. And it is a way to review your spending and improve each month. And I'll throw this one in. It is most helpful when you use it frequently and accurately. Don't just guess at the numbers, but put it to the penny of what your spending is. And don't just do it once, but keep it up.
Es un documento que es vivo, que respira, que crece y cambia cada mes. Entonces esperemos que ustedes sigan con esto y que les pueda ayudar toda la vida. Es un proceso que requiere compromiso, disciplina y perseverancia. Es una forma de revisar sus gastos y mejorar cada mes. Y es más útil cuando se usa con frecuencia y con precisión, no solamente una vez.
Okay. So types of expenses. On your budget that you have there, I'm going to ask you to go back after we do this screen and write a V or an F on your budget expenses to decide if they are variable expenses that fluctuate monthly? They change based on your usage? Or are they fixed expenses that are set and that it's the same amount every month, sometimes to the penny? So looking at the variable expenses, well, go ahead and say that, Carla. Not ready?
Ahora lo que vamos a hablar es qué son los gastos y la diferencia de los gastos variables o los que son, los que no se cambian, los fijos, perdón, se olvidó la palabra. Entonces ahorita vamos a pedir que vean su presupuesto y que pongan una B o si quieren una B si son gastos variables, entonces que se cambian con cada uso, o los gastos fijos con una F, que son la misma cantidad cada mes.
Okay, so the variable expenses that can change based on your usage include food, gasoline, entertainment, utilities. These are things that you can decide every day if you're gonna forego that expense or if you're gonna spend more that day. And then, go ahead, I'll let you do that one.
Los gastos variables se cambian con cada uso, entonces pueden optar para gastar más o menos diariamente con estas áreas, entonces con cosas como la comida, la gasolina, entretenimiento y las utilidades.
And then the fixed expenses are usually on a contract, your rent, your savings, your cell phone, your insurance. And so that you can change it, but not until you renew the contract or change the contract. So when you're trying to save money, you really want to focus first on these variable expenses. You have more control and effect over these. Some fixed expenses come quarterly or semi-annually or annually. Like if you get pest control service, or if you pay your car insurance every 6 months, or if you have to register your car, or even things like Christmas gifts. And so right now we're going to take a break after Carla translates this, and everybody's going to make sure they've included these quarterly and semi-annual expenses on their budget, and then write a V or an F based on whether it's something you can control daily or it's set.
Los gastos fijos son típicamente la misma cantidad cada mes y estos son usualmente en un contrato, entonces cosas como la renta, la hipoteca, también el celular, el seguro, cosas así. Entonces estos gastos fijos usualmente no se cambian. Entonces si quiere enfocarse más en guardar dinero y todo eso, lo primero que tiene que ver es sus gastos variables, porque eso sí puede controlar y sí puede cambiar cada mes. También tomen en cuenta que algunos gastos puede ser que nomás pasen 2 veces al año, como el seguro de autos, si lo paga cada 6 meses, o nomás anualmente, como la registración del carro, o puede ser que lo paga cada 3 meses, como el control de plagas. Entonces ahora lo que vamos a hacer es tomar un break y van en su presupuesto, el que llenaron antes de esto, van a ir y en cada cosa, en cada gasto, van a poner si es B, si es variable, o F, si es fijado. So everyone, take the time now. So if you have the one that I sent, if you want to just write it on the side, wherever you have space, just put, you know, V if it's a variable expense, or F if it's a fixed expense.
And this would be a good time to write the due dates on the fixed expenses as well. And then we're going to transfer them later to the calendar. So is it a 5-minute break, 3 minutes?
We can do 5 minutes.
Okay, 5-minute break.
Entonces,
Write down.
vamos a tomar un break de 5 minutos para que hagan eso, y también si no lo han hecho todavía, pongan para los gastos que son fijos, pongan la fecha en que tienen que pagar eso. Entonces, por ejemplo, la renta de pagar el primero, también pongan eso si no lo han puesto todavía. Entonces, vamos a tomar un break de 5 minutos y ahorita regresamos ya que acaben de hacer eso.
Okay, so did everybody write that down and take a look at what they think they can address first based on your priority and your most variable expenses? Yes, no? Did y'all think about it as you did it? All right.
I see some thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. You can even somehow put a little picture up there. Don't ask me how. Okay. Oh, in the chat box. Okay. Why should you budget monthly? Okay, I was really pleased to see how many of you are already budgeting. We're going to fly through this just to reinforce to you to keep it going. Okay, it gives you control over your money. It gives you a plan to meet your goals and pay your bills on time. It stops you from managing by crisis and getting late fees. It makes you intentional about your spending, especially when you have a goal, when you know you're saving for that mortgage. It helps you make that decision not to get that extra ice cream today because I really need this money for something more important. It keeps the spouses on the same team and on the same plan, and it reduces fighting over money. Oh, that's in there. And stress. It helps you find ways to save. And it's very true that people who have money do it by sticking to a budget. 93% of millionaires stick to the budget that they create each month. So it's a very winning habit.
Entonces, ¿por qué deberían tener un presupuesto? Obviamente les ayuda a controlar su dinero, les da un plan para poder alcanzar sus metas, detiene la gestión por crisis y recargos de por mora, entonces no está gastando, está gastando su dinero responsablemente, perdón, hace que gaste intencionalmente, mantiene su pareja en el mismo plan, y eso también les puede ayudar a reducir las peleas con el dinero y el estrés que viene con eso. Les ayuda a encontrar formas de ahorrar, y es cierto que 93% de los millonarios se apegan al presupuesto que crean cada mes. Entonces, así es como todavía tienen su dinero.
Es un muy buen hábito. So here on the right, we're going to be giving our dollars a purpose. Every dollar you earn needs a purpose so that it doesn't just fly out of your hands and you don't know where you spent it. A budget helps you decide when and how to spend your money. And it's okay to stray from your budget sometimes as long as you have a plan, then you get back to it, or you have extra money that you can afford to. And it helps you to stop stressing over money. Use your budget as power over your finances.
Entonces, lo importante de un presupuesto es que le da, cada dólar que usted gana le da sorry, I blanked out on the word.
Propósito.
Un propósito. Entonces, el presupuesto le ayuda a decidir cómo y cuánto, cuánto gasta su dinero. Y está bien que a veces puede ser que no sigan su plan, pero obviamente siempre regresar a ese plan, y si tienen dinero guardado, a veces tienen ese lujo de no seguir el plan. Y también les ayuda a que no se estresen sobre su dinero y usar su presupuesto como una herramienta para ustedes.
Okay, so a zero-based budget is what we're going to be working on today. You're going to start with your income, and you're going to go subtracting each expense as you spend it until you get zero. So you're planning for the month ahead, but you're looking at last month's budget and how your expenses came in so that you can plan them to come in about that same order the next month until you're zero. Then you get to the next income and you put the next expenses, and we're going to do that with your own personal numbers in a minute. But let me go ahead and just go to this left side, and I know Carla can explain all that. So we're going to tell every dollar that you earn exactly where you want it to be spent before the month begins. You're going to start with your income and prioritize your expenses first by needs, then giving, then saving, then spending. Spending being your daily wants and needs.
Okay. So, what is a zero, perdón, ¿qué es un presupuesto de base de cero? Es lo que vamos a hacer hoy. A último de esto es lo que vamos a trabajar todos juntos. Es básicamente donde usted le dice a cada dólar que gana exactamente dónde va a gastar ese dólar y, y todo esto lo hace antes de que empiece el mes. Entonces empieza con sus ingresos y usted va a priorizar los gastos. um, y lo primero es las necesidades, luego dar, luego los ahorros y al último los gastos.
Okay. So I'm so thankful for Carla to translate for me, because even though I'm bilingual and could do it, my brain would be, it's really hard what she's doing. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of her. So here's an example of what a practice budget would look like. Although we're going to give you some tips about some online programs that make it easier to move things around. But you want to just write down your income and then write down the expenses as you know they come in, and then try to get to zero, so that if there's any extra money, like here there was $20 left over, I should have assigned that money to something, savings or something, before I got paid again. And it doesn't always actually spend out the way you plan it, but at least you have the money ready waiting for whenever that bill comes. Okay.
Esto es un ejemplo de lo que estamos llamando eso, un presupuesto de base cero. Entonces, obviamente hoy en día hay muchas aplicaciones y diferentes cosas que les pueden ayudar a hacer eso más fácilmente. Pero nomás es un ejemplo de los ingresos vienen arriba y luego de ahí van quitando cada gastos que tienen. Entonces, utilidades, teléfono, cosas así. Entonces, a veces van a ver que tienen dinero que les quedó y eso lo van a usar para guardar ese dinero, para gastarlo en otras cosas. Entonces, cada dólar tiene un propósito.
Okay. So a sinking fund is a type of savings where you can save ahead of time because you know an expense is coming, and it prevents you from having to pay billing fees because you can pay up front, or you can get a discount for paying more, like on a car, you know, a down payment. So let me just say this about interest. So when you pay ahead and you're not getting bills, you're not paying interest. Interest is a great thing when it's in your favor, and it's a bad thing when you're paying the interest to another company. So interest is when what you pay extra for borrowing money from someone else. You want to always make sure that you're on the right side of interest. You don't want to be paying interest to anybody else if you can avoid it. And sinking funds really help you avoid interest. So you would know if you have a big expense coming up, like you know you want to replace your car, instead of getting a car loan, you want to try to be saving now to replace that car. And say you know your car won't last but another year, then how much should you be saving to be able to buy a new car in a year? So you take the total amount of money that you need to save and divide it by the months you have before the expense will probably happen. Examples: if you want to go on vacation in 10 months and you know that vacation may cost about $3,000, start saving $300 a month for now if it's in 10 months. Okay, if another example, if you need to purchase a car for $6,000 in 12 months, try to save $500. These are round numbers. That's a lot to save in a month, but it's better than paying the interest later. You'll pay $300 a month on a car loan, but for 10 years instead of 1 year. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating. 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Another example is if you need a new dishwasher, which a lot of the houses, Carla tells me, don't come with a dishwasher. So if you know that's something you want to add to your home, you would want to try to start saving for that ahead of time so that you can buy it up front. If it costs $1,500, then in 6 months, you would save $250 a month, and you'll be ready in 6 months to buy that. Sorry, that was a lot, Carla. Go ahead.
Lo que vamos a hablar ahora es un fondo de amortización, que es nomás un tipo de ahorros. Y esto los ayuda para evitar préstamos y especialmente interés, porque estaba explicando que a veces típicamente les cobran mucho interés. Entonces les ayuda para guardar es por ese dinero en adelantado. Entonces no tienen que pedir ese préstamo o pagar esos intereses y ya tienen ese dinero. Entonces tome la cantidad de que necesita ahorrar y divídala por los meses que tiene antes de que tenga que hacer ese gasto. Entonces, por ejemplo, si tiene unas vacaciones en 10 meses y va a costar $3,000, por esos 10 meses antes de que tenga las vacaciones, guarde $300 al mes. Lo siguiente, si necesita comprar un carro usado por $6,000 en un año, en esos 12 meses guarde $500. Y lo último que estaba diciendo, que muchas de nuestras casas, por ejemplo, no vienen con lavadora de platos, entonces si quiere guardar para eso, por ejemplo, una de 1,500 en 6 meses, tiene que ahorrar $250 por esos 6 meses.
Okay, so this may seem very obvious, but a lot of people don't think through it because they don't have a plan. So when you have working a budget, you're likely to have a plan, and then you can make these things happen. And you don't realize the savings until you do it and realize, wow, I've been paying my insurance monthly all these years, and I could pay a third less if I just prepaid it. Okay, I'll go ahead and move to the next one. So here, about the sinking fund, you want to save your sinking fund in something like this middle column here. So the 3 types of savings would be your emergency fund that you need to keep in your bank, very accessible, where you can get it in a couple hours if the bank's open or if you have online. You want to try to save $1,000 at first. You would want to have it there for anything unexpected. And you want to be, after you pay off your debts, you want to increase this $1,000 to 3 months of your income. No, 3 months of expenses. Okay, start with that one, Carla. Emergency
Ahora
fund.
vamos a hablar en cuáles son diferentes tipos de ahorros. Entonces, el primero es el fondo de emergencia. Entonces, principalmente quiere guardar $1,000 y estos son para eventos inesperados, para emergencias. Y después de pagar las deudas, puede crecer estos ahorros, este fondo, a 3 meses de ingresos. Y es importante mantener en su cuenta esos ahorros para que estén fácil de obtener.
Then your bigger expenses, the bigger purchases that you need to save for, like your sinking fund savings, or if you were to be laid off from work and you would need to have some money to live on for 3 to 6 months, that kind of savings you would put in a separate place, not in your emergency fund. These are planned expenses that you, well, not the layoff, but the layoff is such a big amount that you want to keep it in a separate place. So no one plans a layoff, but it's good if you have some savings to help you. So the bigger expenses need to be in a separate savings account. So you should eventually get 2 open accounts. And this one, you could maybe keep it in something other than the bank. Like you could invest it and then it could grow for you.
Los siguientes son los tipos de ahorros para gastos mayores. Entonces, lo que habíamos hablado antes del fondo de amortización, tiene que crecer esto, aumente esto a 6 meses de ingresos, si puede. Y esto es una buena red de seguridad si algo pasa, como si pierde su trabajo, cosas así, tiene este dinero por si acaso. Obtenga descuentos por pagar por adelante el seguro, pagarlo en su totalidad, y esto lo mantenga en una cuenta separada del fondo de emergencias. Entonces puede ser que sea un poco más difícil de agarrar, pero les ayuda para no gastar este dinero. y tenerlo ahí para estos gastos mayores.
All right. And then the long-term expenses. Are y'all awake there? We put you to sleep? Everybody doing okay? All right. The long-term expenses need to be in a place where they're going to grow and earn interest and on their own get bigger. So these are going to be your bigger expenses that you need later. So for retirement, or if you want to have some savings for nursing home or long-term care, or investing money in a mutual fund, just even if you're not sure what you want to spend it on, but you have some extra money, or college savings for your children, you can invest money for as little as $25 in some mutual funds. Mutual funds are very safe investments. They're not like stocks because they have a mixture of stocks and bonds and very diversified. So this is a good place to start if you have any extra money, or for retirement on your own. A Roth IRA is a tax beneficial account to have for saving, and I can advise anybody on that stuff later. But
Ahora,
long-term expenses also need to be started early.
ahora los gastos de largo plazo, como es el retiro, la jubilación y si quiere hogar de ancianos, si quiere guardar para eso. Y lo importante es que no tengan miedo de invertir su dinero. Ya sé que a veces oímos eso y pensamos que no podemos hacer eso. Entonces ella estaba diciendo que pueden invertir a veces nomás con $25. Entonces, si es un fondo mutuo, es muy, no se va a gastar su dinero, entonces puede ser una buena opción para sus gastos de largo plazo.
Okay, 3 things to ask before using your emergency funds, your savings in your emergency account. Is this an expected expense? Did I see it coming? Or is it a surprise? If it's a surprise, especially a major medical expense, yes, you can use your emergency fund money. If it's an deductible for your insurance because you didn't know that your insurance would not cover that, but you had to pay for it, yes, you can use your emergency fund. Job layoff, yes. Urgent house repairs, like the roof opens, you have to close it up, yes. But if you need school supplies, you saw that coming, so you can't use the emergency account. You want me to go through the whole thing? The other question is it absolutely necessary? If your car breaks down and you can't get to work, then you have to use your emergency fund. If you're growing mold in your walls, yes, you'll have to update your house. Home improvements just to make it prettier? No. Need another car? It would be convenient, but if you can manage on one, then no. And is it urgent? If you got stitches, yes. If you need a new appliance, maybe. If it's a refrigerator, maybe. If it's a dishwasher, no, you can probably live without that. New clothes, no. You get the idea. But a lot of people, you spend that emergency fund on things that they could probably do without.
Ahora, 3 cosas que se deben preguntar antes de que use sus ahorros de emergencias. Entonces, lo primero es que si este es un gasto esperado o si es una sorpresa. Entonces, obviamente, una atención médica es una emergencia. Deducción de seguro es una emergencia. Despido del trabajo, sí. Reparaciones urgentes de la casa, obviamente sí. Y útiles escolares, no, porque ustedes sabían que ese gasto iba a llegar, entonces no es una emergencia. Lo segundo es absolutamente necesario, entonces obviamente si su carro se avería, si tienen problema de carro, esto es necesario poder arreglar su carro. Mojo que crece en las paredes, obviamente sí, tienen que hacer reparación. Mejoraciones para el hogar, no es algo que es absolutamente necesario. Otro carro, si el que tiene ahorita está sirviendo bien, entonces no es necesario. Lo último es urgente. Puntadas, obviamente sí es urgente, tienen que pagar por eso. Nuevos electrodomésticos, Si los que tienen ahorita están trabajando bien, entonces no es necesario cambiarlos. Obviamente la ropa nueva no es urgente, entonces siempre reemplace sus fondos lo más antes posible si los gasta.
So most important rule about an emergency fund is that when you use up the money for an emergency, prioritize replacing the money as fast as you can so that you're ready for the next emergency. You already said that. Okay. So now we know a lot of the stuff that Carla and I told you today, you already knew these things. But it's important to be reminded, and it's important to realize that if you don't apply this knowledge, then it's not helping you. So 80% of your financial success is, whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing there, is based on your behavior, whether you actually apply these things or not. So your budget is your plan, and it's good to have a plan. So first you're going to write your income and your expenses on the calendar, and you're going to write them by due date, right? So you have your blank October calendar, and you're going to look at the date that your bills are due, and you're going to write them for October, what date they need to be paid by. I'm going to do that now.
Okay. Entonces, ¿cómo puede ganar financieramente? Es lo primero, lo 20% es el conocimiento. Entonces, lo que están aprendiendo hoy, lo que han aprendido con experiencia, y el 80% es su comportamiento. Entonces, si siguen estos hábitos, si siguen el plan, si lo checan cada mes o cada vez que le paguen, es lo que de veras le ayuda a poder crecer. Su presupuesto es su plan, que es lo más importante, tener un plan. Entonces, lo que vamos a hacer ahora es revisar, escribir sus ingresos y sus gastos en un calendario y lo escriban como cuando tienen que pagarlos. Entonces, van a agarrar su hoja en blanco de octubre. I already filled mine out before because I do this every month, but I have my planner here, and this is for the month of October, and I have some work stuff on here, so you know, it's already.
We can't read it.
It's kind of filled out already, but in red, I put everything that I have to pay, every expense. So, and I have it by the due date. So that's what she wants you to do now, is to get the calendar sheet and write all of your bills and that you have to pay, write them by their due dates when they're due.
Okay, so everybody's.
Oh, you did it already? Yeah. I'm like, I have like work due dates too and all of that. Yeah.
Yes. So for this exercise, I would write them on the day they're due, because then what I want you to see is, based on when you get paid, how heavy is the month? Are they balanced? The due dates, are the due dates balanced? And how much flexibility do you have? So in your case, that's great. You're paying everything a week ahead. Which is ideal. Everybody should be trying to pay all their bills about a week ahead, but it's just to prevent late fees. But what we can see through this exercise sometimes is that we should adjust some of those due dates and move them to a little bit different time. Now, if you have enough control and awareness, you're already adjusting them. You just want to make sure you don't adjust them too late. Right? But for people who don't do this, it's a really eye-opening exercise to see it all mapped out each month.
Sorry, I don't know if I said that in Spanish, pero les estaba enseñando mi planner. es lo que yo hago cada mes, que pongo, obviamente ahí tengo cosas del trabajo, pero también pongo cuando mis biles están, cuando los tengo que pagar. Entonces es lo que queremos que hagan ahorita, es que saquen su calendario y escriban cuáles biles tienen y cuándo se tienen que pagar. Entonces, una pregunta que ella tuvo es que si, por ejemplo, los biles de utilidades, ella se tienen que pagar el 6, creo que dijo del mes, pero ella usualmente los paga al último del mes anterior. Entonces, para este ejercicio, escríbanlo cuando está cuando se deben los biles, no exactamente cuando ustedes lo pagan típicamente. Entonces queremos que saquen esa página de calendario que tienen y ahí escriban sus biles y cuando tienen que pagarlos.
So I'm going to ask everybody to show their calendar when they're done.
This actually, we were just talking about with what Renee said. That's what I did too when I broke down my bills. Is I kind of break them down by like the beginning of the month and the middle of the month, and I move them around because like I have a credit card bill that's due at the end of the month, and this other thing, I'm trying to remember my phone. They're due at the end of the month, but usually I pay them like around the 15th or so, just so that I don't have to think about it.
Right. So as long as, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying that's what helped me when I started writing them down, is seeing that and being able to break them down.
Seeing when the companies need the money by, and then being able to adjust your own habit of payment. You can do that through this exercise, but oh, what was I going to say? My income is inconsistent. I don't get the same amount, but I do get it on a same interval. But my husband's is on a different interval. He gets paid every 2 weeks. I get paid the 1st and the 15th. And so we have to, it changes every month.
Yeah.
So I can't adjust the fixed expenses, but I can adjust the variable expenses based on when the income comes in. So this is where having a budget really helps me avoid late fees.
Yeah. That's funny. My roommate and I actually do that too with groceries. I get paid every 2 weeks, and she gets paid on the 1st and the 15th. And so we like take turns in getting groceries each week or whatever it is.
Carla, do you know how to show all the pictures on one screen so we can see everybody's face at the same time?
Yeah. You would just have to stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
To see everyone.
And then I can go back to it?
Yes, you should be.
Okay. All right. So at this point, we'll ask everybody to show their calendars. Oh,
okay. Great.
Okay. Madeline, did you show yours? Okay, okay. And Galaxy? And Selma? And Angelica and Kimberly?
I see Sandra's.
Calling you out. There's Kimberly. Did you do your calendar, Kimberly? That's what we're here for. All right. Do you have your debts on there? Your bills? All right. Good. They all due on the same day?
I pay all of mine on the same day. I ain't got time for that riffraff.
All right.
I like the 1st of the month, pay it all, get it over with. So the rest of the month, you got time to, because my poor little truck, bless his Lord, he had unexpected expenses and things.
Kimberly, does your money come in only once a month or twice a month?
Mine's come in once a month. My son get paid. It depends on the month. Anywhere from 2 to 3 times a month. Yeah.
Well, that's very responsible. As soon as you get paid, you're taking care of those bills. Good. I see Josh. All right.
I ain't got time. I don't like bills.
Okay. Anyone else have comments on their calendar? Okay. I'm going to go back to share screen. Did I do that wrong? Here we go. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do now, we're going to ask you to really try to stick to your budgets if this is the first time for you to do it at least 3 months. Those of you that are already budgeting, hallelujah, wonderful job, congratulations, and keep it up. And you need to still be reviewing your spending every 2 weeks and record all your expenses. So I wanted to show you how I use Every Dollar online and I put in all my expenses. But first I go to my online banking and I just write all my expenses down by date. So the first day of the month, how much I spent, what it was for, the next expense, the next expense. Sometimes I have 3 or 5 in one day and going down. And then I take these from this paper and I put them into my online program where I can move them into categories. So that way I'm really seeing every expense twice and I'm able to think about how much I spent in every category. I also have a list of all my bills and what date they're due on. And then I write them down as I pay my bills. So I know if I missed a bill before they tell me that I missed it, right? Okay, do you want to say that and then we'll let them start their budget?
Yeah. Entonces lo más importante obviamente es seguir su plan. Hay muchos de ustedes que ya tienen un presupuesto que siguen, pero también lo más importante es revisar ese presupuesto cada 2 semanas, perdón. Es como pueden seguir permanecer en este plan, perdón, y registrar todos sus gastos para mantener el rumbo. Es como también, entonces ella estaba enseñando que ella usa una aplicación, pero también va y escribe cada bill y cada ingreso en su planner, lo que acabo de enseñar, y es como ella puede ver cada bill y cada ingreso por lo menos 2 veces para seguir en ese plan.
Okay, so now we want to let you guys actually build your budget. You're going to use the numbers. Now this is different from the calendar, but you're going to use the numbers on your budget toolkit and you're going to write them into a piece of paper like this and just go deducting them as they come on the calendar. And then if you have any expense or any money left after the bills on the calendar, write down things like groceries or gas or however much you think you spend before the next paycheck. Not sure if that makes sense. So we're here to answer your questions as you go along. Right, here's the instructions. Write your starting income, subtract your fixed expenses, your most important variable expenses, then your least important expenses until you run out of money and you have a zero balance, and then you do it again.
Entonces ahora lo que vamos a practicar es cómo hacer el presupuesto del próximo mes. Entonces lo que queremos que hagan es que usen las fechas que escribieron en su calendario, los biles, todo, y también el presupuesto que ya llenaron. Y lo que van a hacer es que van a empezar en un papel en blanco, van a empezar con sus ingresos y de ahí van quitando sus biles. Entonces, cada cosa que tienen que pagar, lo más importante es las cosas que son fijos, los gastos fijos, y luego de ahí los gastos que son variables. Entonces, más o menos estimen, pueden hacer un estimado de cuánto gastan en gasolina, cuánto gastan en comida, cosas así. Y sigan haciendo esto hasta que queden con cero. Entonces, vamos a hacer lo que llamamos el presupuesto de base cero, es lo que van a hacer ahorita. Entonces, si tienen algunas preguntas, para eso estamos aquí. Y entonces queremos que todos hagan eso ahorita.
Okay, go ahead and write your numbers and show us you're done when you get to zero. And then ask us questions.
So do you want to stop sharing so that we can see everyone's screen?
Oh, yeah.
And just so that we can see. we're expecting this to take a little bit. This is typically what I do. Like I have my budget, but then every paycheck I go and I do this for myself. Even though I already kind of have an idea of where my money is going and all of that, I just make sure if there's something that maybe I didn't spend on last month that I need to add on there, I go, and every paycheck I do the zero-based budget, and that's what's really helped me see, where my money goes and where I can save more with one paycheck and when the other one not as much. It varies each one, so that's why it's important to always revise it and look over your budget constantly.
Yeah, constantly. That's right.
Perdón, lo que estaba diciendo es que yo hago esto cada vez que me van a pagar, con cada paycheck. I forgot the word for that. Voy y veo mi presupuesto y pongo todo lo que tengo que pagar con ese paycheck, y luego de ahí puedo ver si en una semana puedo hacer que tenga un poco más dinero, y en otra pueda guardar más, o en otra tengo que gastar en otras cosas, lo que sea. Pero es muy importante seguir revisando su plan muy a menudo, porque es como ustedes pueden seguir este presupuesto.
So Selma made me think about how this process, when you are subtracting your bills and then you have some money left over and you're trying to decide where's the best place to spend that extra money, this is where you look at your priorities that we talked about. Maybe more savings, maybe paying additional principal to your bills, maybe starting a Roth IRA. So this is where you get to the planning part, when you got that little extra money, and instead of letting it go on smaller things, put it towards your big dreams. That's the beauty of the plan of the zero-based budget.
Are you able to translate that? I think I missed the first part. You
don't have to say it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. You tell every dollar where you want it to be spent. If you know you have another bill at the other half of the month, but you'll get paid before then you don't have to put that bill on there. You just have to make sure you've assigned all your dollars somewhere before your next paycheck, so that you intentionally know where you want it to go.
One of the joys of Zoom is that I have my dogs here. They've been just joining me through this whole thing, really, just sleeping on my lap. I just woke him up, so he's probably a little sleepy, but it's one thing that I couldn't do if I was at the office, because they would just be running around. But
there are some perks to working from home, for sure.
There is. I'm gonna let him go back to sleep.
Esther, are you done?
Yes. But I have left $17.
$17.
Yeah.
Where could you spend those $17?
Save it for something, for emergency.
Okay, go ahead and assign it. Put it as emergency fund. We want to get to.
We want to hear.
Yes, I had 2 teenagers, and it's always an emergency, something.
Yes. And I know that people want to carry around cash in their pocket. You want to have a little 20 extra all the time. But if you don't assign it to your bigger priorities, it will go to your children's emergencies that maybe don't fit in the laws of the emergency. And
no, it's just just in case I need it. It's to have it in there. But if I don't use it, I just save it.
Okay, then maybe the idea is we want to save first as much as possible and then have a slush fund or a fun fund or a just in case fund that's not emergencies, right? So that you really protect your emergencies, and then you can have this extra spending money.
Yeah, everything
And-
is like the first, all the bills first, and then
Good. So
like
if you want to
grocery and other stuff.
you can make a category for fun money, or if you don't want to call it fun, for just in case money.
Okay.
And then your $17 can go in there, but at least it's there so that it won't get accidentally spent on something less important.
Yes, I know.
You just have to decide the categories that you need for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So while you guys are doing that, I just wanted to pull up. So as soon as you're done, if you want to just show it to everyone, if you have any questions or anything, we can answer. But then I also wanted to mention that I sent a document with just some tools that I found online. Nowadays, if you have like a Google account, which most people do now, you can get like free budget worksheets on the Google Sheets. And that's what I use personally, just to keep track of everything. But there's a bunch of free websites and tools nowadays that you can download. So I just included that in the email if anybody wanted to take a look at it. As Liz said, she uses the You Need a Budget. I personally use Mint, which is just an app that you can get on your phone, and it's free. And that helps me keep track because it reminds me of payments coming up, and then it also keeps track of my spending. So it'll tell me, you know, you've gone over your dining out spending for the budget for the month, so then I'm more aware of it. Lo que les iba a decir mientras trabajan en esto es que yo les mandé por correo electrónico una forma que tiene diferentes herramientas que pueden usar que son gratis. Hay diferentes aplicaciones que no tienen que pagar, como por ejemplo yo uso la que se llama Mint. Entonces estas aplicaciones o estos diferentes recursos son gratis y los pueden usar para ayudarles a tener un presupuesto. Yes, it's called Mint. Let's see if I can, yeah, just Mint, like the herb.
Yeah, that resource is really helpful. There's a lot of things to look at. I use EveryDollar, and I find it very easy because you don't have to balance anything. But y'all take some time and look on that. Can I ask everybody some questions so we can improve on this next year?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down the line from how it shows up on my screen. Whoops. Oh, can somebody get that? It's Nana. Nico, can you get it, please? Okay. So Patricia, have you finished yours? No? Okay. Galaxy, are you there? Madeline, have you finished yours? Did you get to 0 without any problems?
Yes, I realize I need to be saving a lot more each month than I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Did you find a place where you think that could happen?
Yes.
Where do you think you might be able to get more savings from?
Well, so I call this frivolous spending, like the eating out, my boyfriend, he's in construction and they go to gas stations every morning and buy Gatorades and waters. And we were just talking about how that adds up so quickly. And I work for Habitat in Guadalupe Valley, and I always tell our partner families, I go through and highlight their bank statements. I'm like, look at all the eating out, look at, you know, the extracurriculars that don't need to happen. And I always add them up for them for a month. And it's like, sometimes we find that it's like $500, like something really extreme. So we were just talking about how we need to get that under control and work on putting more towards our savings.
Excellent. So writing down all your expenses and then counting it up and putting it in a category can really help you see the percentages. Very good. Thank you. Josh, Did you get to a zero balance? And Natalie Flores, ¿hablan inglés?
English.
¿Está en cero?
They suck English. Did you guys get to the zero?
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything in that process? Was it hard? Do you have any questions?
No.
Have you got-
I do it every month on a just like this every month. So
Okay,
it's my favorite way of doing it. That's why I've been doing it for probably 15 years at least.
great. Do you think you'd be interested in an online plan that gives you reminders or tells you when you're overspending in a category? No?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm so used to doing it. You know, when you get used to doing it a certain time every month or a certain way, it's the way I've always kept my budget that way.
That's great. That works for you, and that's wonderful. I like my paper also.
Oh yeah, but hey, because I can always come back to it. It's always there for me.
That's right. Okay, thank you. All right, Dene, oh, I don't know how to say that.
Familia Saldívar. No hablo inglés.
Okay, ¿quieren?
Hablo puro
¿Quieren decir?
español, pero esto me ha interesado. Yo no llegué al balance cero, pero lo que me queda, me gustaría empezar a ahorrarlo o seguir haciendo el plan para ahorrar para un futuro, cosas de emergencia, mi salud o simplemente el pago de mi casa.
Ok, muy bien. ¿Y has podido ver, si no has llegado a cero todavía, entonces tienes dinero para decidir? Yo quiero que ahora mismo discuten y deciden dónde van a poner ese dinero que sobre. Quiero que lleguen hasta el cero, si pueden ahorita, esta noche. Pueden cambiarlo, pero discútalo.
Ok,
Enti-
sí, hay que discutirlo.
Sí, tenemos la cantidad de que nos está restando $685. So, apenas estamos comenzando con este plan. Estamos tratando de abrir ahorita una cuenta de banco para un savings, para un retiramiento, para un futuro. Cómo ir analizando los pagos de nuestra futura casa y así quedar a cero. Este es un plan que vamos comenzando gracias a ustedes por su ayuda y vamos a ir analizando este plan. Gracias.
Ok, pero sugiero que ahora mismo ponen algo. Si
Ok.
los 600 van a ahorros, ponlo así, a ahorros.
Ok,
O si quieres dividir los ahorros a uno para estudiar tus hijos o
ok.
ustedes
Entonces,
deciden.
podríamos poner $300 para estudio de mi hijo
Ajá.
y 385 para savings, para un retiramiento. Y ahí estamos en cero.
Exactamente. Exactamente. Y pueden ir cada mes afinándolo mejor si ven que quieren cambiarlo, pero por lo menos ahora mismo, para el próximo mes ya tienes un plan para cada dólar. Muy bien. Ajá. Okay. People moved around. Okay, so it's in a different order. If I skip someone at the end, you'll have to tell me. So now I'm going to Sandra Williams. Hi, Sandra. You want to unmute and tell us where you are? How did that go for your zero budget?
I like this page. It took a while to get to zero. I guess I had to throw money in the bank to get it to zero.
That's what we hope, right? And it doesn't always work out where we want it, but we're trying. And the more we look at it, the better we get at the daily decision making. So you got it to zero. Good. With some savings. Excellent.
Yeah, because evidently I've been spending and then trying to pay stuff. So I spent my extra in the beginning then.
Spend your savings in the beginning. Yes.
Evidently, because I didn't know I had that much left to save.
Well, and what happens is we have little expenses that we don't keep track of, so we're not conscious about it. We don't realize how much it is. But when you see it every week on the paper, or every 2 weeks, every month, you start seeing how much it is. So as I come to you, I also would like you to tell me if there's something in this presentation that we should spend more time on or less time on, or add in that we didn't touch on. I will say this, that when you have your emergency fund at the bank, you are earning less than 1% interest from the bank. But when you invest in mutual funds, you can get close to 6-8% on your money. If you invest in stocks, something more risky, you could get as much as the credit card companies are charging you, 23% sometimes. But you know, that takes some education, but the bank is not growing your money for you. So you only want to keep your emergency fund and your daily spending there. En español, can you get it, or do you want me to?
Do you mind getting, because I just didn't forget.
That's fine. I didn't know, but I think it's worth saying in Spanish. So, quería explicar también que las inversiones pueden ganar mucho más dinero en, por ejemplo, un fondo mutual, una inversión en el banco. En el banco están pagando menos de 1% de crecimiento en tu dinero. Pero en una inversión de seguridades o security fund, a mutual fund, esos ganan como 6-8% de ganancia para tu dinero, en tu dinero. Y hay algunos que son más riesgosos que pueden ganar mucho más. Okay, that's the gist of it. Let's see. So Renee Juarez, did you finish your zero budget?
Yeah, and I have quite a bit left over that I could be putting away for emergencies, definitely, and also for when I get the house to buy things that we might need for it.
Excellent, great. Or to make a big down payment. I'm so happy to hear that. Now, sometimes what happens is we're forgetting expenses like those middle of the year expenses. But as you build your budget and work on it every month, you'll start remembering those and putting them in. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to go with, because you know how wintertime your gas bill goes up, and
at home.
For me, my electric and my gas go up. And so I actually allowed for that.
Great.
In my budget. So there's going to be months that's not there, because in the summertime, my gas bill is really low compared to what it is in the wintertime. So, and also, so is my electric bill.
I'm so glad to hear that you're aware of that you're noticing the changes and that you can incorporate them. That's going to make your budget more exact. Good job, Renee. Jesus Rodriguez. Happy family.
Hello, Miss.
Hello.
We got our down to zero, but we kind of have to budget in for birthdays because our birthday months just started in September. So we have multiple birthdays a month, all the way up until February. So
all the way to February?
We have 7 kids, so we have a lot of birthdays.
Wow, congratulations. What blessings. That's a double reason, 7 times the reason to be really careful with every expense. I hope you have some great birthdays. Did you get it all in there?
Yeah, I mean, this month, October is going to be our slow month, so it's just my birthday, so there's not much going on there. But next month, of course, there's going to be a lot more.
Okay, so do you plan to spend about the same amount of money on each birthday?
No, because we have older kids, so for them, it's just, you know, gift card, or I know my daughter, she asked for a whole bucket of nothing but like laundry detergent and stuff like that, because they live on their own. So
very good.
I mean, the birthday, same. We'll budget it for whose birthday's coming up because usually I think we only have one kid that has a birthday, like they're the only birthday in the month, you know.
So I told my children after 12 years old, they don't get birthday parties. They can go out to eat and on a fixed amount of money, but
Yeah.
that's just us, I guess. Every family does, but that's good. If you can build it into your budget and afford it, then that's a great plan.
We need to adopt not anywhere close to 12 years old yet, so that's a good plan.
Yeah.
You're gonna adopt what?
We're gonna adopt your 12-year-old plan. Our oldest that's still in the house is 8, so we have 5 at home and 2 that are grown. So the 5 at home get birthday parties, and the 2 that are grown get gift cards.
That sounds good. We've adjusted with our kids too. They've gotten different amounts, but 12 year, that's a good plan. They know what to expect. Carla, were you gonna interpret or?
Oh, I was gonna say, someone had asked, can you explain mutual funds? She's interested in growing her savings.
Okay, sure. So a mutual fund is where 100 companies are part of the fund. And when you buy a mutual fund, you are, I wish I had prepared all the terminology, but you are buying some stocks, some bonds, some cash, maybe some international. You get to choose what you want inside your mutual fund, but it's like a elevator with lots of cables going up, because if one company fails in the mutual fund, you still have all those other companies that are doing fine and all those cables that are still holding your fund up strong. So they're not very risky because there's so many companies involved, and all mutual funds have a money manager that keeps track of all the funds. So if they see a company starting to look not so healthy, they'll take it out of the fund and they'll replace it with a new company. So there are small fees in mutual funds because of the money management involved, but they're minimal and they're well worth it for the security you get in those. If you buy straight stocks, then that's just being an owner of one company, and that company, if it fails like Enron, then you lose all your money. If you buy bonds, you are loaning your money, and it's very unlikely that you will lose all your money in a bonds. They're very safe, but they don't make barely 6%. The best ones make 6%. They're usually around 4%. Stocks can make a lot, but mutual funds are a balance of all of them. You can usually get around 8% on sometimes 15% on some mutual funds.
And who can you talk to about purchasing a mutual fund?
So I'm happy to talk to you individually about mutual funds. I can give you my cell phone number or my email. I don't know what's the protocol, or Carla can send it out to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also ask a financial planner, A.G. Edwards. I can't think of those kind of companies. Sometimes they don't charge you for a first consultation, and they'll help look at what you have. I do personal plan where I'll sit with you for an hour or two, figure out what your situation is right now and where do you want to go, and help you decide the best option. I give you options and then you make your choices. I can sell certain funds, or you can buy funds from other companies.
So what's your email so I can put it in the chat?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. I'll just translate. So, lo que estaba preguntando es cuáles son los fondos de inversión, los fondos mutuos. Entonces, esos son donde básicamente agarran como, depende de cada fondo, pero por lo menos 10, te dijo, 10 diferentes compañías o diferentes acciones o bonos y los juntan todos. Entonces, fondo mutuo usualmente ganan más dinero porque si tienen un manager que está viendo todas las compañías y si ven que alguna está cayendo un poco, la sacan y la reemplazan con otra. Entonces es una buena forma de invertir dinero porque es más seguro que si pusiera dinero en una acción o un bono es una diferente manera de invertir dinero. So I'm
Anything
gonna
else?
show.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm gonna show that document real quick, and then I think we'll
Okay.
be done for today.
Okay, wait. If you do that, I'm going to lose my people.
Oh.
I have a few more to go to. Can you wait just a second, or are they leaving? Okay. I do want to say I can help you set up a will. A lot of people don't know the best way to set up a will, and you can just write something on a napkin, but in Texas that doesn't hold up as well as if you have it legally prepared. So I can educate you on things like that. ID theft, home securities. We have a lot of things. Okay, so let me go down the line. We did Sandra Williams. We did Renee. Nadeja. How do you say that?
It's Endasia.
Endasia. I wasn't too bad.
You were
Okay,
close.
how'd it go?
I did get down to zero. What I usually do when I get paid every 2 weeks, I'll just pay the next closest bill. Like I'll add money. Like if I have extra money, I'll just pay the next bill after that. I'll just add to it. Just so I'll be ahead like a week or two.
Okay, but that's not really how the zero-based budget works, because although it's great that you're paying additional, if you add it to a additional interest, additional principal, that's great. And as long as you had it budgeted, say in October, you're working down and you have extra $100 before you get to zero, you say, I'm going to put it on my utility bill. No, on my credit card bill. Then you've assigned it, and that's okay. But if it's a utility bill, then you're going to have extra money next month. If you're paying it on a fixed expense, then you're going to always have that extra money floating. If you pay it on a variable expense, then that's okay.
Okay.
You just want to tell it exactly where it's going to go every month. Don't say, I'll pay it on some bill next month. Tell it which bill
See,
it's
that's what I
going to
usually
next
do.
month.
I
Okay.
just be like, oh, I'm just going to pay extra on the next bill. That's how I usually do.
But which bill is it going to be? You should know already.
I don't know that. I just split it.
Why don't you know that?
Because I just split it between like extra, like I'll just put like I'll do the regular bills and I'll just split it like an extra $50 on each one. Something like that. And I'll just go over on each one.
Okay, so my advice to you would be to find out what your interest rate is on those bills.
Okay.
And you should be paying extra interest, extra principal on the bill with the highest interest.
Okay.
And I can help you figure all that out. But
okay.
If you look at the statements, sometimes it's down at the bottom, but it should be on the first page what interest rate your bills are. So there's a strategy to paying extra on your debts. You can do it really smart, or you can do it kind of throw money at it wherever I can, whenever I can, but that's not always the most
That's
efficient
what I usually
way.
do.
Okay, well, I'd love to show you a better way. Okay.
Okay.
I think
all right.
It would be Kimberly Dixon.
Did I do Esther Gonzalez already? Okay, Kimberly, are you there? Leticia, are you there? Leticia Loy? Angelica Godbolt?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay.
And I don't have like many expenses like everyone else because I'm actually staying with a relative, so it helps me save. So mostly what I was doing at first, and I have to get back in the habit of doing that because I fell off because I purchased a vehicle, but I wanted to cash it out, not to have the what you were speaking on earlier, like the interest to pay it. So I paid it all at once. But normally I would try to pay like all my bills I do have out of one paycheck, and at least try to save half of my gross income a month. So that I need to go back to doing that because I kind of fell off a track and I'm not doing that anymore. So like most of my money that I have left would go to savings. Outside of like the bills that I actually have that I pay that I have to have, like I'm paying like insurance. I did recently like open up a loan to kind of like start building my credit score. about maybe like a month ago. But at first, I normally stay away from the loans, but I could save like half of what I made a month.
That's fabulous.
And I mean, I got to get back in the habit of it because like last year I did it and it went well. So I was able to pay off my debt to resubmit to get back in the habitat. And then this year, it's just the vehicle I had, it wasn't reliable. Like by the time I added up what all I had spent putting into it, because I didn't have a car note, so I was trying to save the car. I was like, okay, I could have already made a purchase on a vehicle. And I'm not really into car notes because I just see them as being extra debt. And then like you said, with the interest, really on a lot of things, by the time you add that up, it's almost like you could have had something else that you could have just paid straight up cash for. So I just bought my vehicle straight out. Like I think I did my savings and it took me like 2.5 weeks to pay it off.
Fabulous. That's really good. So if you're saving that much because you're in someone else's home, that's a really nice opportunity. You should buy them dinner every 2 weeks or something to appreciate that. And good that you're seeing some direction. You can get back to some good habits.
I think Letitia was. Yeah.
Did I do Selma?
Okay.
Can't see Leticia. Did she write or what?
I'm on here.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So what is the question again?
Why can't I see her?
So doing this experiment, or not experiment.
Did you do the zero budget? Did you get to zero?
Yes, I did. I can show you.
Okay, how did it work for you? Did you find anything that would help you?
Yes, well, toward the bottom I did, as you can see. I split it in half to where I can put into the 3 to 6 months emergency fund and then saving toward my home and any expenses whenever I get to that point.
Okay, great. Is that everybody then?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
So again, you're going to think of some expenses that you didn't include today, but if you please do this every time you get paid and every month before the month begins, you'll be finding a lot of places you can improve. What else could we have talked more about or less about?
Oh, sorry.
Less about what is a budget. A lot of y'all seem to already know that. That's good. All right, Carla, tell us about your sheet.
Yeah, so I just found these, like this first one, it's from Money US News. And then these are the applications that we personally use. So like I said, I talked about Mint. It's a free app that you can just download to your smartphone. And I really like it just because, like I said, it keeps me on track with my budget, like reminding me when my bills are due, but also it keeps me on track with if I'm spending a little bit more than I, should on different areas, it'll keep me on track. She uses EveryDollar, which is again a free budget app. There's Digit, which is $5 a month that automatically saves from your bank account. I also use that, and you need a budget. And then, like I said, there's different spreadsheets that are free that you can get from Google. Just go to your Google Sheets or Excel. And at the bottom, it's just investment apps for beginners. So I sent this through the email. If whenever you have the time, if you already have something that works for you, then obviously, use that. But that's just some different tools that I found just easily online. Let me see the chat. Okay, well, that will be all. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Liz, for this class, and for this is actually her first time presenting with us, so we're very excited to have her join our classes, and hope you all, this is our last class, which is crazy. I will be sending you all a survey again if you just could take the time. It'll be pretty similar to the first one, but just after the classes, what have you learned now? So if you could please take the time to take that survey, and thank you all for joining us for these.
I want to say that I'm very proud of all of you for taking this step, and I hope that you will get your beautiful house soon. I'll be so proud to be able to help build it, whether it's with the hammer or with your financial house. Keep up the good work. And I do think that we need, next time I would add more about investments. I could talk a lot more about that and maybe less about the budget basics, since so many are already doing it. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, take care.
Bye, guys.